Hello CNC students. We're going to cover another basic math topic today. And that basic math concept is called the Pythagorean theorem. Sometimes also called Pythagoras theory, Pythagoras theorem. Pythagoras was a guy, lived around 500 BC, was well known as a mathematician, philosopher, and he had this idea about right triangles. And let's talk about it for a second. So here we have a right triangle. That means it has a 90-degree edge, one 90-degree angle. That's symbolized by that little square in the corner. So we know it's a 90-degree angle. He theorized that there was this relationship between the sides of the triangles. And as if this angle, these two angles stayed the same, and the sides got longer, that they got longer by some equal amount, something we could calculate. Also, that as the angles changed, the sides would change in a length that was relative to each other. So there was some sort of relationship between the sides and the angles that never really changed, never compensated. It took him obviously some time to figure this out, but his theorem goes like this. So a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Okay? Now, a represents one of the sides, the length of the sides. B represents the other side, the length of that side. And c is always going to be the hypotenuse. And as you guys remember, the hypotenuse is the longest side of a triangle. So anytime you have the longest side of a right triangle, that's called the hypotenuse. That's always going to be C. Now A and B, we're just adding them together, so it doesn't matter which one you call A and which one you call B. And what this theorem says is, as these sides get longer, as A and B both get longer, C also gets longer by kind of a similar amount. So let's put some numbers to this. So we'll call this A, and we'll call this one B. And let's say A equals 6 inches, and B equals 8 inches. Okay? So let's do the math here. We're going to have 6 squared plus 8 squared equals c squared. Now, if you got your calculator and follow along with me, 6 squared would just be 6 times 6. That equals 36. Plus 8 squared, which would be 8 times 8, equals 64. That equals our c squared. So let's add these together and finish our problem. That means A plus B equals 100, and that equals our c squared. The way to solve this on your calculator is to do 100 square root. The square root is the opposite of the squared symbol. So if we do that in a calculator, we'll find that c equals 10 inches. The square root of 100 is 10. So this side is 10 inches. The really cool thing about this theorem is because of this relationship, our sides can get longer, our angles can change. As long as we know two of these sides, we can figure out what the other side is. We can also use this if we do the opposite way. So if we know the hypotenuse of one side, we can fill our formula out the same way. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Where A equals 6 squared plus B squared equals 10 squared. And we can go ahead and just do the math on this, and we'll find out that this is 36 plus b squared equals 100. Now, in math, we need to move one of these over. We're going to move over to 36 and put b squared equals 100 minus 36. We do the math there, we find out b squared equals 64, and we can now do a square root of 64, and that'll take us right back to our 8 that we had earlier. So, simple class, just a quick explanation of Pythagorean theorem. This is really good to know. A lot of times, again, in CNC programming, both in the mill and the lathe, we'll find out that we know maybe two sides of the triangle, but we don't know what the third side is, and that third side may be the side that we actually have to program. So by using this, if we know two sides of a right triangle, we can always figure out the third side. All right, thank you very much. Keep watching, more videos to come.